The Dream Season Football League, number 2, to determine who is the greatest franchise of all time.
Come on now.
Man, it's the Chargers. Chargers is the best team.
It's America's team. Next question.
Alright, this isn't even up for discussion, alright? You know it's all about the birds.
It's all about the 12 fan, baby.
You want the QB, you want the QB killer. Guess what? We have both.
Go Seahawks.
Yeah, we got the ultimate weapon. Y'all ain't ready.
When in doubt, win it out.
You got Reggie White, Eric Allen, all the way back to Concrete Jungle.
We got the Hall of Famer LT in the backfield.
We got Stella, Peterson, two tall gems.
That's San Diego Chargers, lights out ball. This is Bolts all the way.
Whether it's the vet or the link, it doesn't matter. Just know that when you come to Philly, be ready to fight.
In Dallas, every game is prime time.
The DSFL 2 will contain far more great players and Hall of Famers than ever seen before. This is the simulation to determine who is the greatest franchise of all time. The simulation starts now. In our first matchup, the Green Bay Packers were host to the New Orleans Saints in a game that would turn out to be the game of the week in the DSFL. The first touchdown scored would be an Amon Green 10-yard run to put the Packers on the board 7-3 midway through the second. But Drew Brees and the Saints would reply. Eric Martin with his first of 2 touchdowns on the afternoon. This one a 70-yard dart to put the Saints up on top 13-10. Aaron Rodgers would respond with a drive into Saints territory, would throw a bonehead interception here. Jenkins turning the ball over, and the Saints have an opportunity to reply in this game. But it would be Drew Brees unable to get past the Packers side of the field. Another sack on this one, and the Packers would respond. Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers going deep on this one, and it's James Lofton down the left sideline for a huge 70-yard score, and the Packers take a 20-13 lead. But just how great games end up being played, the opposing team would not go out without a fight. Eric Martin on the very next Saints play, 80 yards for his second touchdown of the night. This one to tie the ball game at 20 with just under 2.5 to play in the fourth quarter. Now Aaron Rodgers on his ensuing drive, he would need a first down but would be unable to pass the Saints pass rush, and the Saints would respond. Drew Brees to get Eric Martin and the New Orleans Saints into field goal range, and on 4th down and 7, Hartley for the game winner, and this one would be straight through, and the Saints win 23-20 in a stunning upset. Green Bay stunned in this one. Pittsburgh Steelers travel to rainy Baltimore to take on the Ravens in a one-sided contest that early on would go the Ravens' way. Flacco to Shannon Sharp for an early 7-yard touchdown, but after that it would be all Pittsburgh in this one. Lynn Swann with an 87-yard touchdown strike to tie the ball game at 7, and then after this it would be another Pittsburgh dominating performance here. Flacco unable to pass the Pittsburgh pass rush, and Bradshaw and the Steelers respond. Another touchdown for Pittsburgh. It is now 14-7, and Baltimore, again, unable to pass the Pittsburgh pass rush. That is a safety, and the Ravens go on to lose this one 26-7. Bengals and Browns played in a thriller in Cleveland, Ohio that would begin from the opening kickoff. The DSFL season would be underway in Cleveland, but Max Speedy would fumble the football on his first kick return of the season, and Jabil Wilson would be there for the recovery. A huge turnover for the Cleveland Browns. It would lead to a Bengals score. But Otto Graham and the Browns would respond, and here it would be a 4-yard one-handed grab by Dante Lavelli to put the ball game tied at 7. Now after a Bengals field goal, Otto Graham would have his fair share of struggles in this one. Geno Atkins recovers his fumble and takes it near the Bengals side of the field. And now after a tie ball game, it would be the defense for the Browns that makes a big-time mistake. That is Chad Johnson before Chad Ochocinco that catches the Ken Anderson pass, and now the Bengals have a 17-10 lead. After another Cleveland 3-and-out, it would be Jermaine Gresham fumbling the football, picked up by DeQuell Jackson, and that is a huge Bengals turnover. And the Browns would take advantage with under 2 to go in the fourth quarter. Otto Graham with the slowest 40 to get in the end zone, but his 6-yard scamper ties the ball game at 17 here in Cleveland. Now the Bengals have a chance to take advantage, but Ken Anderson would get sacked on the play, giving the ball back to Cleveland. Now they have an opportunity to win it here in regulation, and there's Dante Lavelli down the left sideline. gets the ball to the 10 and the game-winning field goal. That's Lou Graza. The Cleveland Browns winners here at home, and the Bengals stunned in a last-second winner, 17-20. Indianapolis travels to Houston, Texas to take on the Texans-Oilers mix of teams. Eddie George for the 2-yard scamper to make it 7-3, but that would just be the start for the Texans-Oilers domination here. D'Amico Ryans 14-yard recovery, and that is a 14-3 start here in Houston. But the Indianapolis Colts, after a halftime of mistakes, would finally take advantage, get in the end zone, and it is now 14-11 after the Unitas Dwayne 2-point conversion, and now it is a 3-point contest midway through the third. Would Houston be able to take advantage? After a tie ball game, Warren Moon to Andre Johnson, and that gets the ball into the red zone. Can Indianapolis hold them to a field goal? No, they can't. And now the Colts have to travel down the field to tie it at 21. And on 4th down and 5, Unitas unable to connect with his running back, and the Colts drop a winnable one here in Houston. 14-21 your final. Chiefs, Bills, and KC, what would turn out to be a laugher here in Missouri. An early touchdown pass on a 13-yard connection from Jim Kelly to Don Beebe would be just the start of the Bills' domination. Len Dawson throws a bonehead interception to Jones, and that is a Chiefs turnover. And yes, I know, the Chiefs quarterback is left-handed. I apologize. Bills make it 13-0. There's no doubt that the Bills improve to 1-0 on the season. Final 15-0 in KC. Eagles and Rams in an offensive shootout that would come down to the final 2 minutes in St. Louis. 3-0 start for the Eagles, and Kurt Warner goes deep. The deep ball is complete to Hirsch, and that is a 54-yard touchdown for St. Louis to take the lead 7-3 early in the second quarter. But the Eagles were not done just there. It would be Randall Cunningham with the deep ball on his ensuing possession, and this one a 79-yard score to Tommy McDonald. He would have no troubles getting into the end zone here, and the Eagles increase their lead to 10-7 midway through the third. Kurt Warner complete to Hirsch on a second down play, and that would be a fumble. Eric Allen with the recovery, and that is an easy St. Louis turnover. Now we've transitioned to the fourth quarter. Randall Cunningham going deep yet again, and that's Deshaun Jackson getting inside the 25. That would lead to an Eagles field goal to make it 16-13. Now we are down to crunch time with under a minute to play. Akers with the field goal, but the Rams were not done just yet. Warner goes deep, and we have seen this all day long. Torrey Holt now with the long reception. That is a 77-yard touchdown for the Rams, and now they take the lead 20-16. Philadelphia has another chance. Randall Cunningham on his very next play goes deep again. Terrell Owens with a leaping reception, getting inside the red zone. Ball to the 17. And now on the Eagles' very next play, Randall Cunningham to the end zone, and that is a touchdown, and Tommy McDonald wins it for the Eagles. Final 23-20. Lions-Bucks in Bucktown, Tampa Bay, Florida, and it would be all Buccaneers in this ball game. Stafford would be intercepted by Aqib Talib, and he's gone. 48-yard interception return for a touchdown, and the Bucks have it 7-0 early in the first quarter. Lions continue their struggles on the afternoon. It would be a nice 1-yard reception here in the end zone to make it 14-0, and then Warwick Dunn to make it 21-0. Final score is 35-10 in a blowout for the Bucks. Seahawks and the Niners in Candlestick Park. 49ers hosting what would be a one-sided affair in this one. Montana to Rice. Have we seen that all but a million times in the NFL in the 80s? That is a nice 2-yard touchdown for that combo. And then Montana back to work. John Taylor with a nice reception, 42 yards. And that tip ball just showed exactly how Seahawks would play throughout the day. Deion Sanders getting his primetime act on. 102 yards for the kick return touchdown right as the half ends. The final would be 35-10 in a blowout win for the Niners. Giants and the Skins in a defensive slugfest in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. 3-0 Giants midway through the second. Sammy Baugh getting the worst of the Giants' pass rush. That would increase to a 6-0 Giants lead before Darrell Green, the speedster, at cornerback, intercepting, and in a track meet like sprint down the sideline, Darrell Green 53-yard pick six. and that would be 7-6 for the Redskins before they would finally get on the scoreboard. Sammy Baugh, 25-yard touchdown connection there to make it 14-6. Now the Giants have one final chance in the third quarter, but Phil Simms fumbles the ball picked up by Hamburger, and that would end it for the Giants. Final would be 14-9 in this ball game. All Giants have to do is score a touchdown to win, and they can't do it. Vikings and the San Diego Chargers in Qualcomm Stadium in a contest that would early on go the Chargers' way. LaDainian Tomlinson doing what he does best, getting the football in the end zone. 9-yard touchdown, 7-0. But after that, Adrian Peterson would not be outmatched. A 1-yard touchdown for him ties the ball game at 7. And now at a 13-7 contest, another sack near safety for the Chargers. And on 4th down and 8 with the game on the line, Fouts sacked again. That would end it for the Chargers, and the final score in this one, 24-7. Very interesting game here in the Cardinals against Panthers matchup. Nearly every touchdown was scored for the Cardinals. This one, it would be the Cardinals giving up a touchdown. This is Sam Mills with a pick 6. 7-0 early for the Panthers. 60-yard interception return for the linebacker in the end zone touchdown. 7-0 start for Carolina, but Arizona answers right back. Larry Fitzgerald off the right sideline. That is a 36-yard touchdown, and now we are all tied at 7, and Carolina hasn't even gotten the football yet. Would they take advantage? No, they wouldn't. It would be Otis Anderson getting in the end zone, and it would be 14-7 now in the Arizona Dome. Third quarter now, Muhsin Muhammad off the left sideline. That is a 65-yard touchdown connection, and we are all tied yet again, 14 apiece. Cardinals score another touchdown, and this one would get out of hand. The Panthers, get in the end zone again. Panthers squeak out a tough one, 28-14. Jaguars hosting the Titans in what was a one-sided affair early on. The only touchdown scored on the entire contest is Maurice Jones-Drew right up the gut, 78-yard score. And the Jaguars take a 7-0 lead early on. The Titans' offensive struggles would continue into the second half. An incomplete pass would mark the struggles for this Tennessee offense. They lose 10-3. Falcons took on the Bears, and the Atlanta Falcons were completely out of this game from the opening kickoff. Eric Weems takes the handoff, and it is a fumble, ladies and gentlemen. Nathan Basher on the recovery, and that's a big touchdown for the Bears. 10-0 at this point, and then Walter Payton off the left side, and it'd be another touchdown. Falcons look like a Pop Warner team in this one. They lose 44-0. Cowboys and the New York Jets on Sunday Night Football, and this game would live up to the hype on the prime time stage. It would be a 7-yard score by Emmitt Smith to start the contest, 7-0 early in New York. 10-0 now into the second quarter, and it would be Wayne Chrebet finally getting into the action, an 81-yard touchdown for him on his very first catch of the game. 10-14 Jets now before Aikman fires complete to Alvin Harper, and he's gone. 84 yards for that Dallas receiver, and now it's 17-14 in New York. Right before halftime, the injury timeout would be insignificant. He would get back in the game in the second half. Aikman would fire to a completely covered Michael Irvin, and that's Darrelle Revis there for the pick, getting into the Dallas red zone. Ball on the 19. That would lead to a 10-point swing for the Jets. It is now a one-possession lead for New York. But that would be when Aikman fires, and it'd be complete to Michael Irvin to get into the red zone. And on 4th down and 3, Smith fumbles the football, but it's picked up for a touchdown by Doug Free, the O-lineman. Game tied at 24. Now the Jets have one final chance with under 2 to go. Joe Namath complete to Wayne Chrebet to get into the red zone, and on 1st and goal from the 8, Curtis Martin into the end zone. And the Jets go on to win 31-24. In our final matchup of Week 1, the Raiders and the Broncos on Monday Night Football. But it would be all Oakland in this matchup. The Raiders dominate like they always do. Fred Biletnikoff to make it 14-0. And with Elway going deep, it is the better Willie Brown getting in front of the pass, and the Raiders go on to win this one 14-7 in Denver. Here's a recap of all your Week 1 scores. Make sure to tune in next week where we will give you highlights of the Week 2 action in the DSFL. Can the Raiders improve to 2-0? We'll have to wait and see.
He's open for 6. Touchdown.